So if I did next week a beer batter recipe, it might be different from the one I did a year ago or 6 months ago or 2 weeks ago.
You always do different.
But the base thing that I always remember and I always stick to is I start off with 1.5 cups of self-rising flour.
Right.
Not all-purpose, self-rising. And I will add a little bit of baking soda, about 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and baking powder to make sure we get a poofy batter. Because if you're gonna make a beer batter, you may as well have a beer batter that's delicious. Now, one thing I've started to add over the years is a little cornstarch for that firmness and that delicious texture that you wanna get. So tonight's beer batter is gonna be a little bit different because how many of you like lemon with your fish?
Yum.
A bunch of you, would you imagine?
Yes.
You think about any fish that you put in the oven with butter and lemon and garlic. That's a pretty good start.
Right.
So what we're gonna do tonight is start off with our 1.5 cups of flour, 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, a little bit of baking powder, a little bit of baking soda, and lemon pepper.
How simple.
Now the reason I did this lemon pepper on this particular batch is because we've been having a lot of Cajun mixes and a little bit spicy mixes. You're not caring about anything being real hot.
I don't need it super hot.
Now you think about lemon pepper in itself, it's not just lemon and pepper. It's lemon flavoring, and it's pepper, and it's garlic, and it's onion, and other spices. So I thought, what would happen if I took this and put quite a bit of it and let that be the main part of my seasoning with a little salt and with the beer for that nice mellow yeasty taste, and then just a little bit of hot sauce, just a little bit. Now it's not going to make it hot, I promise. It just gives it that nice little, just a little bit of cayenne flavor in there.
So I won't eat it. That way you get all of it, right?
I promise you, it's not hot. So what we're going to do, and I'll let you get the whisk out, Mrs. Farmer.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and add our cornstarch. So we're also going to take some russet potatoes. I've washed these two, and we're going to show you how under 300 degrees you can make nice crispy fries.
Yeah.
What color do you like your fries?
Like brownish.
Brown and crunchy. So we're going to try and strive tonight for crispy fries without any tricks. Not soaking them on ice or anything, just cutting them, putting them in. And we're going to take...
How much you get? Ooh.
We're going to put quite a bit.
Season it up. Now
this particular lemon pepper mix doesn't have any salt in it, so we're going to add a little salt. Now this is coming out real slow. I'm not putting a whole lot of salt in there, but you do have to have a little salt. So we're watching our oil heat up, and again, we do not want to get anywhere near that smoke point. Just don't want to do it. So what we're going to do is mix all that up. We got some salt in there. Now we're going to come in with 12 ounces of beer. And you want this to be a rather thick mixture. You don't want it to be runny because you want it to stick. Because when I have a beer batter, that just so accentuates the fish. And that's as important as the fish itself, I think.
It smells so good.
I know it.
Smell that
lemony. Just that right there. Now you can see where we're at mixture-wise. This is thick still. I'm gonna take a little bit of that hot sauce. And again, that's not gonna make that hot at all.
That's a lot of hot sauce.
I promise. I would not ever lead you astray.
Okay.
Unless there's money involved. So I'm gonna mix that in there. So you have the lemon smell,
and
you have a little bit of cayenne smell, you got the beer smell, and it just makes something that's just kind of absolutely wonderful. All right, now watch this. Look where this is at.
That's
you can see this is thick. It's barely running off of there. And we are now up to almost 280, so we're getting close. I'm gonna take what I call the tenderloin piece right here. Look at that.
That's the best piece, isn't it?
Look at that.
Yummy.
Let's take the 2 tenderloins out here of our freezer diving cod. And I'm gonna show you a couple tricks. Now, why do I have this external thermometer on here? Because I do not trust the electronic devices on board, because many, many times I always check them. They can be 10 to 20, 30 degrees off. So I want to be very careful. Now look how thick that is. You're thinking, that's too much. Look what I'm going to do. I want to make sure every square inch of that is covered. Use my hands because it's going in the grease. Look at that beautiful, beautiful thick batter. And that's about how I want it to look. Now when I bring it over here, I'm gonna hold it there and let it swim just a little bit. If it takes off and tries to get away, probably to turn it loose.
You should.
Saying, give it another chance in the ocean. But what I'm gonna do is let that cook just a little bit while I'm holding it. So what's that do? That keeps it off the bottom from getting in that grate and hanging on to it. So it lets it go ahead and start cooking. And that way that'll bring it up and let it stay on top. And what happens too, if you have a thick batter like this, the batter stays on instead of floating all over the place. Again, I'm gonna let it swim just a little bit. Now that right now is only about 280 degrees because of the coolness of the fish, and that'll bring it right back up. And it's floating because I've let that bottom cook just a little bit, just enough to keep it up off the bottom from getting stuck. Now watch the way that's working over here. That's only about 290 degrees. Look at that. Now, I think it takes about 12, 13 minutes to get it cooked all the way through, and I checked the temperature out on the inside. It's way above where it needs to be, just for about 12 minutes. So look at this. Now it'll tell you when it's done. It'll come up and it'll float, and it'll be a lot less bubbles. And I want you to look at that beautiful piece of cod and that beautiful beer batter.
Lemon pepper cod. I love it.
Lemon pepper beer batter. We use extra virgin olive oil.
So yeah.
Somebody's gonna say, what brand do you use? The cheapest we can find.
Exactly, yeah.
In bulk.
Yes.
And there's some good brands out there that you can find in bulk sometimes. You want the first bite?
I do.
Go ahead. Right in there is a good.
This looks good and crunchy.
Hey, look at this. I want you to look at the interior of that fish. Perfectly done, perfect temperature. I'm gonna go for a little bit. I didn't dip the part we ate on.
Sorry, I love the lemon pepper flavor on that fish. That's delicious.
Still moist.
Wow.